Today we going to explain dependency injection and how we use in the .NET Core project. So let's add the topic. Dependency injection. Okay. In .NET Core. Using .NET. Okay. So let's go step by step. So first step we say what is dependency? Dependency. So a dependency is something a class need to work. A dependency is something a class need to work. A class need a dependency is something a class needs to work. Okay, example. Let's take if order service need payment service to process payment, then payment service is payment service is dependency of order service. Okay, so that is a brief word. So let's take a step 2. Problem without dependency injection. Problem we face without dependency injection. Okay, so let's get a bad example. Okay. So in C# we use something called public class order service. Okay. Inside have some properties. Object of payment service. They have assigned it, initialize it. Okay, and then use in public void use place they just directly call payment service dot process payment. This is a bad example. Without okay, this is a so inside what is the problem? What is inside the problem? First is tightly coupled. They have tightly coupling, and second is hard to test. And second and third is cannot replace. Okay, so they cause problem. Order service directly create payment service object. Inside the problem have order service directly create payment service. Okay, this is not a flexible. That is there is cause the problem. Okay, so that is issue. So let's go in step 3. What a dependency injection? Okay, so dependency injection is something like dependency injection means instead of creating dependency inside the class, instead instead of creating dependency inside the class, we inject from outside. We inject from outside. This reduced tight coupling. Okay. Okay. So let's improve the design with dependency injection using interface plus injection. So let's create first interface. Like I payment service, and inside they have a contract payment process. Okay, this contract they have. Okay, so let's implement it. Implementation. So let's create public payment service directly connect with iPayment, and then apply the contract. Apply the payment process. And they apply the logic. Okay, they have processed the payment. This is implemented. Now inject dependency. Now inject class and now inject dependency. Okay, so in dependency we have just used.
ठीक है भैया जाते हैं 5 मिनट डालिएगा
बिल भेज दीजिए
बिल मम्मी बोली भेज देंगे जहाँ डाल दीजिए ना डायरेक्ट वहाँ बैठी हुई थी तब मम्मी बोली कि बिल भेजा जाएगा बोलो ना ₹100 उसका डालने के लिए
कितना तारीख को होता है
आपका लगता है 6 या 7 तारीख को
अभी तो 10 दिन बच रहा है जी
तो उससे पहले ना मम्मी बोल रही है थोड़ा जाना था एक जगह इसलिए ना मम्मी बोली कि थोड़ा डलवा लो सूरज भैया से
बिल भेज कॉल कर दीजिए डाल देंगे
हाँ
अभी थोड़ा वर्क करें they have private we have inside iPayment service they have create interface of it iPayment service they have subjected and by constructor order service not inject dependency create a constructor inside the constructor they ask service payment service then assign it payment service is equal to payment service okay the constructor is called and then we can easily call that through our interface then we call public void and when we need we just call that call through their constructor dot web process payment okay so this is the example of using interface and dependency now order service do not create payment service now the order service do not create payment service it only depends on abstraction it only depends on abstraction okay behind the scene behind the service what they do not care they just inject it and that they have just called it this is dependence injection okay okay so let's go in next step how can we register it step 5 registering in .NET okay so in project in program.cs we just use it build.service but add scope they have iPayment service payment service type, and they have payment service. They have injected it. Okay. And then also inject add scope, order service. These both class has injected it. Now dependency injection, .NET Core dependency container automatically injected. Now .NET Core dependency injection container automatically inject dependency. Okay. So let's go with types of dependency injections in step. They have some type of dependency injection. Okay, so the first is container injection. Most commonly used constructor injection. Constructor injection. This is used most commonly. Most common they use constructor injection. And let's go to second term is method injection. Method injection, and third is property injection. So the constructor injection, method injection, and property injection. This is a three type of dependency injection that we have. In real project construction is preferred. In real constructor injection is preferred. So now we come with the service lifetime. With step 6. We have service lifetime. Okay, they have service lifetime in .NET Core. It is very important. Constructor, method, attribute, property. Constructor, method, and property. Very important. First is transient. That's mean every new transient mean new instance every time request. Okay. And second is scoped. Scope, that's mean one instance per HTTP per request. And we go last second is singleton. That's mean one request per HTTP request. Singleton one instance for entire So let's get example. Build.service.add transient dot add transient. We provide the interface my service, and then provide dependency class my service. And second is builder service that add scope. The constructor I my service interface to constructor. And third part is builder dot add singleton. Same have my service. Okay, so let's go in last step 8. So real project use cases. So in real enterprise project, in real enterprise project have controller depends on service. Depend on service, and the services depend on repository. Repositories. And third is repository depend on DB context. DB context. Okay, all dependencies are injected. Are injected. Okay, so what they have benefit they come. So first is they have easy unit testing. They have easy unit testing, loose coupling, that is easy replacement. And clean architecture support. Okay, so let's see some main points we have. So let's say dependency injection reduce tight coupling. So it have they have dependency injection basically reduce tight coupling, and it's depend on abstraction. It's it depends on abstraction. .NET Core handle built-in DI container. .NET handle .NET Core has built-in DI container. Okay. And constructor inject recommended. Constructor injection is recommended, and the service lifetime is important. Is important. Okay. So let's go to final thought. So dependency injection help us build flexible, maintainable, and testable application. Flexible, maintainable, and testable application. It is the core concept. And it is core concept in modern .NET development. Okay, that's all about. So let's just repeat everything. So dependency injection used in .NET. So step one, what is dependency? Dependency is something a class need to work. Example, if order service need payment service to process payment, that payment service depends on order service. Step two, problem with without dependency injection. Let's see bad example. So inside the public class order service, they can create private object of direct payment service and initialize it, and then we use public void payment place payment service process payment. There is some problem. They have tight coupling, hard to test, cannot place payment service easily if we want to change anything. So order service directly create a payment service that is not flexible. So what is dependency injection? Dependency injection means instead of creating dependency inside the class, we inject from outside. We inject from outside. This reduces tight coupling. Step 4, using interface plus injection. So we create first interface, public interface, payment service, void payment service, payment process. Then implementation is public class payment service connect to iPayment service. They have used public void payment process signature. They have created a very method payment process and will implement it. Now inject dependency. In public class auto service, we create a private variable of interface, not the class. So public auto service, they ask, so create a constructor and constructor provide the payment service. The payment service assigned it. Then we use inside the any method. Inside the payment service, process payment. Now in order service do not create payment service. It only depend on abstraction. This is dependency injection. Okay, let's go step 5. Registering in .NET Core. In program.cs, we just use builder.service.addScope interface with interface name with dependency class. Builder.addScope order service. .NET Core dependency injection contain automatically injection happen. Constructor type of dependency injection. .NET Core container automatically inject dependency. Type of dependency: constructor, method, property. Constructor, method, property. Mostly use constructor. In real project, constructor inject in is preferred. Okay, so they have some service lifetime in .NET Core. This is very important. They have transient, scope, and singleton. So transient every instance in every time. Scope means one instance per HTTP request, and singleton one instance for entire application. Example: builder.add service dot add builder.service dot add transient builder.service add scope, so on. Step 8. In real project we use. In real enterprise project, the controller depends on the service depends on repository depends on DB context. All dependencies are injected. Benefits: they are easy to test. Individual part we can test it. They have loose coupling, so directly they have not create class object directly inside the class. They are outside. Easy to replacement. If in future we want to change payment service or add payment service, we can use freely. They have clean architecture. They have clean architecture support. That's mean everything here layer by layer they have added. Important points: they have dependency injection to reduce tight coupling. In dependency injection abstraction, a .NET Core has built-in dependency container. Constructor injection is recommended. Service lifetime is important. So final thought: dependency injection has helped build flexible, maintainable, testable application. It is a core concept of in .NET in modern .NET implementation. That is all about it. Thank you.